Good evening, everyone. It is Wednesday, February 25th, 2026. This is Truth News. I am Walter Bass. Today, we are going to cover the Great Deception. It is spoken about in the Bible. We are seeing it unfold right before our eyes. The lies, the deceit, and all of these people involved, the technology involved, psyops. And it's a little disturbing. It's actually quite disturbing to see so many people lie about crimes against humanity, crimes against children, and just evil behavior in general. It's disturbing to see people lie about that. But it disturbs me even more that they have the audacity to just get in front of a camera, anywhere there's a camera, and just keep lying when everyone knows what's going on. It's disgusting. So I got to tell you before I start the show, my hands are dirty. I was at work painting as always. And right here, I had a drip of paint coming down my chin. I almost started the show with a big white drip of paint on my chin. And when I turned on my camera, I thought, oh no, we can't have that. So I had to gather myself up. Just a reminder, the whole premise and reason I make these videos every single day is because this man is a serial child sexual predator with 16 years worth of victims of children he has kidnapped, raped, murdered, tortured, and sold out of Riverside County, posing as a state judge. And this is my son that I haven't seen or heard from since 2021 because I reported child sex trafficking to the FBI. And after reading my email that I typed up yesterday, because I like to review everything every once in a while. And after reading it and realizing everything I've been put through at the hands of the intelligence agencies, law enforcement, and the United States government as a whole, that goes for senators, congressmen, congresswomen, local, state, federal law enforcement, intelligence agencies, even private civilians getting involved and doing the FBI or the Homeland Security's, CIA's bidding for them. I thought long and hard about how grateful I am to be able to endure all of this. And then I was grateful to God, because if it wasn't for me reading my Bible every day, listening to John MacArthur every day, going to the gym every day, and focusing on myself every day, reading, exercising, meditating, praying. If I didn't have those daily disciplines in my life, these people would have driven me crazy. They would have driven me to suicide. They would have driven me into homelessness in the streets. They would have driven me to drugs or alcohol. And I believe that's the purpose and intent of our own government, is to literally just do whatever they want to citizens. I think they're sadists. On top of being psychopaths, which is clear and obvious they are psychopaths, I believe the United States government are sadists, and they actually derive pleasure from other people's pain. I think it makes them feel good to make people hurt. I think that's the only, they're so empty and void of all feeling. These people have the sensitivity of a cinder block. And I literally mean that. The sensitivity of a cinder block. So I thought tonight we would start with a Bible verse instead of ending with a Bible verse. We might end with one too. But I want to start with one because it kind of lays out the groundwork and the premise for the show. And we're still on the same one I read last night. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. We're going to start at verse 9. That is, the one whose coming is in accord with the activity of Satan, with all power and signs and false wonders, and with all deception of wickedness for those who perish because they did not receive the love of the truth. The love of the truth. That's integrity. That's morals and that's values. And the love of the truth, Jesus Christ is the truth. So if you love Jesus Christ, therefore you love the truth. Some people actually live biblically without even realizing it. Because if you're living in truth, whether you believe in God or not, living in the truth is a form of godliness. Because you are commanded to, thou shalt not lie. That's a commandment, demand. So, I'll read on. So as to be saved. For this reason, now this is important. This is what I wanted to get to. For this reason, God will send upon them a deluding influence so that they will believe what is false, in order that they all may be judged who did not believe in the truth but took pleasure in wickedness. What that means is God's going to separate the wheat from the tares, the real from the fake. We got a lot of T.D. Snakes and Joel Osteens and Dan Bonginos and Cash Patels and Pam Bondis. And, last night I think a lot of people saw the State of the Union, or maybe the People's State of the Union on Midas Touch. I'm not sure which one you watched. I tried to watch the State of the Union. I tried. I made it 20 seconds. That's all I could stomach of watching a rapist, a pedophile, and a murderer stand in the hallowed grounds of the Capitol of the United States of America and spew filth and evil. That creature is a rapist, he's a murderer, and he's a pedophile, and he's in charge of the greatest country on earth, the United States of America, and it sickens me. And I tried to listen, and I want to touch on a few things before we get into this. I got my notes already, which I wrote this show up last night. I didn't do it because I typed that email and we did the show on my email yesterday. So before we get into this, I just want to remind you, I don't know if you caught it, but in the State of the Union last night, the man who has raped children, murdered American citizens, and been a child sex trafficker, as documented, called half of Congress crazy. Now, hold on. We're going to keep going. Dan Bongino, the former director for the FBI, called Candace Owens demonic scum. We're going to keep going. Ben Shapiro, who we all know is the biggest scumbag of the little hat people. I mean, he's right there with Bibi Netanyahu. He's right there with him. He said Candace Owens is having a mental health crisis. Now, I believe Pam Bondi has said these things. The reason this is significant, and I'm pointing this out, is basically the mentality of these psychopaths, these child rapists, these pedophiles, and these murderers is you either let us do what we want or you're crazy. That's their whole defense, is let me rape children. If you say anything, you're crazy. Let me molest kids. If you say anything, you're crazy. Let me murder Charlie Kirk in front of national television, in front of the whole world. If you say anything, you're crazy. These people literally are trying to say that everyone who even asks a question about rape of children, murder of innocent Americans, they're crazy. That is their whole defense. Now, this is biblical too, because they called Jesus Christ crazy when he was running around Jerusalem teaching. They called John the Baptist crazy when he was baptizing people in the Jordan River. They called Paul the Apostle crazy when he was running around spreading the teachings of Jesus Christ. Do you see this pattern of behavior that's been going on for 2,000 years? Same group of people involved. The Tiny Hat Shriners Convention, little whatever they are. They're like the Oompa Loompa gang. Little Oompa Loompas. Oompa Loompa doopity-dee. If you don't let me rape kids, you're crazy. I've never seen anything like it. The Oompa Loompa gang with the tiny hats. So, getting into the show, now that that's out of the way, I just wanted to prove that point. And you can go on Valhalla, Nate at Valhalla. He did a show today about Dan Bongino, Ben Shapiro, Tim Pool, all attacking Candace Owens because she's actually investigating the assassination of Charlie Kirk, actually doing work, while they just want to get in front of a camera and run their mouths and tell everybody how great they are and that you should just shut up because you're crazy and you're stupid. It's disgusting. So, this group of elites that's doing this, and we know who it is. They call themselves elites in the U.S. government. I mean, let's be real. Kash Patel is hammering beers in the locker room with the U.S. Olympic hockey team at the tune of $400,000 of the American taxpayers' money, so he can fly on a private jet to Milan and chug beer in the locker room with a U.S. hockey team. That's the director of the FBI. That's the same organization that I went to Monday, September 13th of 2021 to report child sex trafficking of my son by corrupt government officials. That's the same organization that Dan Bongino spent his entire tenure with, which was 10 months, maybe a year, doing nothing but redacting files to cover up for child rapists, child molesters, and murderers of children. That organization. Yeah, what a joke. So, these people are having costume parties, dressing up like dogs at Mar-a-Lago. Now, let me say it. The people who say that we're crazy for caring about the assassination of Charlie Kirk or caring about children being raped, tortured, murdered, eaten, and sold are dressing up like dogs at a costume party in Mar-a-Lago and saying that we're crazy. Let that sink in for a minute. These people are making millions of dollars stealing our last penny. Stealing our last penny. I mean, I was at work today and I was thinking about taking my tablet in Walmart and showing some prices of things. I drink sweet tea, Nestle Pure Leaf sweet tea. It's pretty natural from what I've read. I stay away from high fructose corn syrup and a lot of crap. I really watch what I put in my body. And it was $6.98 for a 6-pack. It's gone up to like $8.50 for a 6-pack of tea now. It's gone up $2. Coffee, when a year ago it was like $14 for a can of coffee that I drink, which is McCafe. Which you say I drink coffee 1 in the morning, 1 at night. It was $14 for a can of McCafe a year ago. It's now $23 for a can of coffee. While these people are flying on private jets to Milan to pound beers in the locker room with the U.S. hockey team at the tune of $400,000 of our money. That's not counting telling me that President Trump ate my son. That's Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department, 3rd District. President Trump ate your son. That's what they told me. Capitol Police Intelligence told me in 2024 my son was dead. Stop calling. That's because I went to the FBI Monday, September 13th of 2021 to report child sex trafficking of my son. And you can see yesterday's video if you want to see what all I've been through, or at least a good portion of it. So back to the Great Deception. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is the Great Deception. Because let's be honest, the whole premise and purpose of artificial intelligence is deception. There's no proper use for artificial intelligence. You can look stuff up yourself. There's books. I buy books every week. Every 2 weeks, I buy a book. Go to the used bookstore. Google. And I don't even trust my Google, to be honest with you, because here's the thing about this technology. It can be scrubbed, altered, and changed at any time. And that was the thing about print, about newspapers and things like that. Once a newspaper is printed and distributed across the country, you can't go gather up all the newspapers and destroy them or change them or edit them. That's it. It's in black and white. But this technology, anything can be changed, edited, and scrubbed at any time. That's the Great Deception. Social media. You know, I remember when Facebook came out. I was in New York, and I'd actually met this girl at a bar, and she had texted me and asked if I had FB. And I said, FB, ? I didn't even know what it was. And she said, Facebook. And I remember that was my first introduction to Facebook, was a girl asked me if I had FB. I was like, no, I don't even know what that is. And I was in my 20s at that time. In all fairness, that was, quite a while ago. So I was thinking, when was that? That was like 07, 08. Yeah, that was probably like 08, something like that. But that was my first introduction to Facebook. And when I originally got Facebook, I thought it was pretty cool. And it was genuinely, at that time, it was just luring everybody in. It was a pretty open platform just for people to socialize, share content. It wasn't being used as a psychological weapon. Not when it first started. Now, all of these apps, TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, X, are all being used as psychological weapons to control perception of people's reality. I mean, whether it's what's going on in our greatest allies country and the genocide, whether it's what's going on with our own government, our own military, whatever the situation may be, this technology is being used as a weapon. And right now it is really taking its toll on our nation, on our society, and on we the people altogether. And I hate to see it happening. I really do. And that's a big reason I share this content, make these videos. I want to encourage people, be mindful that this thing is not a toy. It's really not a toy. It should be taken very seriously, and it should be handled with self-control and regulation. Do not allow yourself just to get lost in this thing and forget where 4 hours of your life went. How many people have done that? How many people have sit on your phone and started scrolling? Next thing you know, 4 hours are gone, and you don't even know what you saw. You don't know what's happened. You just lost 4 hours of your life. Be mindful. Be mindful. This is not a toy. This is very serious. So AI is already deceiving millions. And believe me, what they're going to do with this AI is they're going to slowly merge it in with real people, whether it's the president, whether it's politicians, whether it's intelligence agencies, whether it's mainstream media. What they're going to do is they're going to have the real person, and then they're going to merge in AI. Like, you'll see 3 interviews with, let's just say hypothetically, Trump. You'll see 3 interviews with Trump, They'll do one AI interview and just kind of slip it in and see if we can notice. It's called testing the water, testing the field, or a field test, as they might call it, a field test. And I think we've already seen that. I think we know in the assassination of Charlie Kirk when Donald Trump addressed the nation from the Oval Office at the desk. We all saw the glitch with the fingers. Do you remember that? That AI? See, what they're already trying to do is slip in AI and switch out real people and reality with AI, which is a twisted reality. It's artificial reality, not artificial intelligence. There's no intelligence in AI, none whatsoever. It's an algorithm that just tracks everything you do, everything you see, and it gives you more of it. It's like a drug dealer that just keeps giving you more of the drug that's killing you. Yeah, come on back, I got more. Sure, here. So, we really need to be mindful of this AI. We really need to be mindful of this technology. It's not a toy. It's not a game anymore. It's being used as a weapon. Make no mistake about it. So liars, because that's what this AI is about, people being able to lie. That's all these people want. They want to be able to lie or have someone lie for them, or a team of people lie for them, PR people, spokespeople. So liars that get away with lies only keep lying. Think about that. The more these people lie and get away with it, the more they're going to lie. There's no way around that. It's got to be stopped. And evil only grows when it's unchecked. Bad people don't stop being bad until something or someone makes them stop being bad. Whether it's they're held accountable, charged, convicted, whether they're punished, something happens, a series of events that is traumatic and really wakes them up and makes them stop. Evil people don't stop being evil on their own accord. That doesn't happen. So, and I hear today there are 50 pages of documents, 302s from the FBI, of witness statements of 13 and 14-year-old girls with photos, with witnesses, that Donald Trump raped them when they were 13 and 14 years old. And those pages have been flagged and removed from the files. They are FBI 302s. One girl, who I believe was 14 at the time, took 4 statements from the FBI. 4 times the FBI questioned her. If she's not credible, why does the FBI take the time to question her 4 times? And she had photos. And she showed them photos and told the FBI. She was reluctant to show the photos to the FBI because she says, I'm scared these people might do something to me. I'm scared they might retaliate and put my life in danger. And if I show you this picture and show you who's involved, I'm scared of them. And the FBI assured her that nothing would happen. And now that same man is the President of the United States of America, in charge of the FBI via Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. Think about that. 13 and 14-year-old girls, the President of the United States of America raped. There's no disputing that. There's none. That's the truth. And YouTube's probably going to flag this video, and that's fine. I'm not doing this to make money. I'm not doing this to get clicks. I'm doing this because I'm sick of the lies. And the only way to stop the lies is with the truth. I was listening to John MacArthur today, and he said, when you give your life to Jesus Christ, you sign up to serve the truth. And it is your job to tell the truth and to stand against evil. The Bible says to hate evil. Believe me, I hate evil. I call these people across this country from California to Washington, D.C. every day. I yell and scream at them. I say some of the most vile and disgusting things I can think of to call them. I call them horrible names because they're evil. They're evil. I don't know what else to do. I make these videos every day. I send emails every day. All because My son is a victim of child sex trafficking for 1,630 days by not just anyone. This wasn't just like a crazy uncle or a family member or a guy up the street. No, 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 no. This is a state judge with 16 years worth of victims of children. I'm talking thousands of children. State Judge Kelly Hansen has kidnapped, raped, tortured, murdered, and sold. He uses his job strictly to benefit his own sick, evil sexual desires with children. That is a big premise for these whole videos. So here's the reality. Marjorie Taylor Greene said this about a week ago, and it really hit home, and I've been thinking about it for a week. Marjorie Taylor Greene said, we are not going to vote our way out of this. And I'm watching the reaction and the behavior and the moving forward, the thought process of the president, of the Department of Justice, of the FBI, and we're not going to vote our way out of this. That's a sad reality. These people are never going to surrender. They're never going to admit the truth. If you caught them red-handed with 2 6-year-old children on video, they would say it wasn't me. They would say it was AI. They would say it was a hoax. These people are never going to stop. It's not going to happen. Which brings me to my next point. You cannot reason with unreasonable people, and these are psychopaths. You cannot reason with a psychopath who only cares about their sick, evil desires. These people don't care about anything except what they want. Nothing. They don't care about their own children. They don't care about their own family. They don't care about their own neighborhood, their own country, they care about nothing except what they want. And they will stop at nothing to get what they want. And that's scary. Those people are scary. Very scary. I've been around ambitious people that want to get to the top and are willing to cheat, lie, steal, whatever the case may be. I've seen that. It's a competitive world we live in. I get it. But there's a difference in being competitive and being crazy. These people are crazy. Legitimate, clinical definition, psychopaths. So the next question is, what are we going to do? We're not going to vote our way out of this. And our children and our grandchildren have to live in this country, whether we like it or not. They have to grow up here. And I believe it is our moral and ethical duty to stand up for our children and grandchildren as a nation. I will be sending emails. I hope we can organize, strategize, and mobilize, because our country needs us. Our children need us. Our grandchildren need us. Our future needs us. I believe we need to organize. We are 340 million Americans. There's a few thousand of these scumbags. Just a handful compared to us. Literally just a handful. And whether we gotta, go in a couple of million strong and just shut down DC and block everything and say, we're not leaving until you leave. This is going to be a standoff. We are not, it's our country. The Constitution is the law. You are not the law. This right here is the law. But I hear this is being sold in the fiction section, actually. I hear they moved the Constitution in the bookstores. I heard it's being sold under fiction now. Might want to check out your local bookstore and library if you're looking to pick up a Constitution with a foreword from a pedophile, Alan Dershowitz. That's a pedophile. Yeah. Wonder where he's from, Dershowitz. Wonder if he's one of the Oompa Loompa tiny hat people. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are perilous times in our country. Make no mistake. And I hope that someone hears these videos, hears me. And I know there are other people, I've seen on podcasters, people are already talking about taking action. It does no good to take an action as one bee. You need the whole swarm. You need the whole beehive to move as one. And we, the people, are a swarm of bees. There are 340 million of us. And that is where our strength lies, is in our numbers. So we need to organize, strategize, and mobilize. The weather's getting nice. Spring and summer are coming. It's not going to get any better. It's not going to get any better. The prices aren't going to go down. It's not going to happen. They're only going to go up. Gas prices are going to go up. They always price gouge gas during the summer. So I hope that people are considering what's at stake here. The future of our nation, the future of our society. Our children, our grandchildren. Their futures are in our hands right now. So I'm pleading. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Share these videos with as many people as possible. And I hope you understand that if you got $100 today or $1,000 today, you're not going to have $5,000 tomorrow. You're actually going to have way less. And it's going to get worse. It's going to keep getting worse until we, the people, come together as one. So I'm going to close with the same Bible verse I opened with because I think it's very important. 2 Thessalonians 2, I'm going to start at 8. Then that lawless one will be revealed, whom the Lord will slay with the breath of his mouth and bring to an end the appearance of his coming. That is, the one whose coming is in accord with the activity of Satan, with all power and signs and false wonders, and with all the deception of wickedness for those who perish, because they did not receive the love of the truth so as to be saved. For this reason, God will send upon them a deluding influence so that they will believe what is false, in order that they all may be judged who did not believe the truth but took pleasure in wickedness. I believe the United States government is taking serious pleasure in wickedness right now, ladies and gentlemen. So, thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. I hope you like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you all tomorrow.